Welcome back to the Arbitrage YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to learn how to make this beautiful agbada with collar. It's a very simple tutorial. So to do this, I'm going to be folding my fabric into four. You fold into two first, like that, and then you fold again into four. The length I'm working with is 25 inches plus 2 inches seam allowance. That makes it 27, and the width is going to be your shoulder measurement plus your desired sleeve length. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark my starting point. So if you don't want yours to have a seam on the shoulder, you don't need to mark a starting point. Remember, we folded into four, and you can do this without the shoulder seam. So after marking that, I'll mark my neck width of 3 inches and neck depth of 1.5 inch for the back. Then I'm going to connect them together. Sorry, the chalk was not showing well. So once you mark that, the next thing is to mark your shoulder, just like that, and then you mark your sleeve length. So whatever sleeve length you want to work with, you mark it, and then I had 2 inches hem allowance to the sleeve. So once you mark that, I'm trying to use another chalk to see if we can have something bolder than what we already have. So now I'm turning it like this so that I can have a better view of it. That's my neck plus my sleeve length plus my shoulder measurement. So once you do that, you mark 1.5 inches and create your shoulder slope. So from the shoulder slope downwards, you mark your sleeve opening. It's not a tightly fitted sleeve, so I just use 10 inches for mine. Once you create the sleeve opening and you mark it down, to shape the side from where your sleeve opening stop, you just come in by 2 inches and then you connect it. You can see the same 2 inches that we use for the hem allowance of the sleeve. So I'll connect it and then cut it out just like that. That is all you need to do. So now we're going to come to the neckline. We have done the back neckline, which is 3 inches by 1 inch, and then I'll cut out my shoulder slope. So for the front neckline, it's going to have a collar, so you need to determine the width of your collar. Mine is 2 inches, so I'll start marking 2 inches from the center front like that, and then I'm going to make it into a straight line. Then you're going to connect that to your neck width. You can mark 9 inches downward as your neckline, and then you connect. So that is the neckline we're working with for the front, and you lift up your front bodice and cut the neckline out. Can you see that the front now is completely opened? So we are going to be replacing what we have cut with a collar. So now to cut my collar, I'll measure around my neckline from the center front all the way to the back neckline. Then you're going to bring out your fabric to cut out what you need. Okay, you are going to measure from your center front all the way to your back neckline, and then that's going to be the length, and then the width is going to be what you cut out as your collar. Remember, we cut out 2 inches in the center front, so you are going to add allowance to that, and that is going to be your width. You can see that I'm making sure that I measure my neckline correctly. So once you cut out your front neck for your collar like that, the next thing is to take out your actual neckline from it. So to take out your actual neckline, you can see I've gone ahead to sew it so that I can get my perfect neckline. So I join the shoulders together, the front and back shoulder together, so that the neckline can be together. So once you join it together, we're going to fold it in half so that we can get a proper neckline. But this is what it looks like. Can you see that gap in front? That's what we want to fill up now. So you just take your proper all round measurement from front to back. That is how you get your collar. Then you're going to measure your neckline, your front and back neckline. Remember, we came down by 9 inches for the front. So now I folded it into half. Then I'll start taking measurements from the center back to where the neck measurement for the front stop. I had 13 inches. So now I'll bring my collar, fold it into two, and measure that 13 inches. So from the front, the collar is into two now. You measure your 13 inches, which is your front and back neckline. So once you measure the 13 inches, this is the full length of my collar. It was 35 inches, so I cut off the excess. So now once you measure your front and back neckline, which is 13 inches, the rest, you are going to divide your collar into two. Can you see I'm dividing the collar into two? You are going to make it into a straight line and take it to your sewing machine to sew. You start sewing from where your front neckline stops. So I have sewn it. Can you see? I've sewn from where my front neckline stop. Then you open it up like that. Once you open it up, every other part will be sewn aside from your neckline area. Can you see? The neckline is going to be open, but every other part is going to be sewn. So you are going to bring your iron. So you are going to iron your collar properly. Remember, we use 2 inches for the collar plus half-inch seam allowance. So when the collar is opened, it's going to be 5 inches. That's 1.5. But on fold, you are going to have 2.5 inches. So you iron it properly, and then you are going to fold in the extra half-inch allowance that you added to your collar. So I am folding the half-inch allowance with my iron. I'll fold it all around so that I will just put my neckline inside. Can you see it is folded now? So once you have a perfect collar like this, it's going to be knit both in and out. You are going to bring your agbada, and then you just open it up and start putting your agbada inside the collar with the half-inch seam allowance. So I'll put it all around the neckline, and then I'm going to hold it with my pin. So this is better so that you see how it looks like. Then you're going to cut off the excess. So once you hold it down like this, you're going to take it to your sewing machine. Can you see that it's knit on the inside as well? And then you run a stitch. So I have sewn it down, and this is what the blouse looks like now. So for this, I want to add pockets to it. So I've got to create my pocket. It measures around 8 inches by 9 inches. So I've serged it, I've folded it inside. I'll just place it where I want it to be. So you can measure from 2 inches from your center front, and then you place the pocket. You can place your pocket anywhere you want. So I'll measure that, and then I'll place my pocket, hold it with my pins, and then I'll go ahead to hold the pocket down with my machine as well. So you're going to sew around your pocket to hold it down, and you're going to do this for the two pockets. So you need to make sure that you're measuring where you place the first one so that they can align, and then you'll be sure that you're placing them at the same point. You don't want your pocket to be on different points. So once you do this, once you sew your pocket, the only thing to do now is to hem the sleeve, close the side, and then you're going to hem the lower side of the blouse. So that's basically what you need to do. Can you see? So now I'm closing up the side, and then I'll hem the blouse. So once you do that, this is what you're going to have. So make sure you weave the rough edges so that you have something neat. Then you now take this to your iron, and then you iron it properly. So this is what the blouse looks like. It's very easy to make, and it's really beautiful, as you can see. So this is what we have on the mannequin. Can you see? You can pair it with a short, with a long pants, with a leggings, anything you want. It's very comfortable and easy to make.